Balbeck has the largest stones that were ever quarried in human history, the largest stones that were lifted, stacked, and transported in human history, and the largest stone columns in all of classical history.
The stones at Baalbek in Lebanon are the most massive in the world. For centuries, the official story said they were a Roman foundation, but that story is a lie. The Romans didn't build it, and the truth is far more terrifying. A newly developed AI, fed every laser scan and geological report, has finally solved the mystery.
Trilithon stones. 3 stones, 900 tons apiece, or 800 metric tons, and they were moved a half a mile from the quarry. They were lifted and stacked approximately 30 feet off the ground.
The analysis proves the ruins were built by a civilization with technology we don't possess, using engineering that no human, ancient or modern, could ever complete. And that's putting it lightly. The program that rewrote our past. That story just fell apart. A small independent research group, frustrated with the gaps in the official narrative, decided to use a tool that mainstream history couldn't ignore: a highly advanced pattern recognition AI. They didn't just ask the AI to look at a few pictures, they fed it everything. We're talking high-resolution laser scan data of every single stone, ground-penetrating radar surveys of the foundations under the foundations, microscopic analysis of the tool marks in the nearby quarry.
This is the real mystery of Balbeck: how these stones came to be there, why they were placed there, and specifically how they were transported into place.
Geological surveys of the entire Beeka Valley. And most importantly, they fed it astronomical charts mapping the sky's changes over the last 40,000 years. They asked the AI a simple question: what are we missing? The answer that came back didn't just challenge the official story, it completely destroyed it. The AI, a machine with no biases, no career to protect, and no historical dogma, ran trillions of calculations. Its first conclusion was delivered in cold, hard logic. The probability of the Roman Empire building the megalithic foundation of Balbeck is 0.00%. The Romans, the AI concluded, were just the last in a long line of tenants. They found this impossible platform already standing, a relic of a forgotten age, and simply built their own temple on top. It's like finding the concrete foundation of a skyscraper and building a log cabin on it, then claiming you built the whole thing. The crazy part is why the AI was so certain. It came down to 2 things: mathematics and the stars.
Before the Roman temple was this spaceport platform that was apparently used for extraterrestrials coming and going on planet Earth.
The AI found that the entire complex, the massive foundation platform itself, is aligned with pinpoint astronomical accuracy. But it's not aligned to the sky the Romans saw. It's not even aligned to the sky the Egyptians or Sumerians saw. The AI accounted for axial precession, the slow 26,000-year wobble of the Earth's axis. It found the platform was perfectly aligned to the spring equinox sunrise as it would have appeared roughly 12,800 years ago. Let that sink in. That's more than 10,000 years before the Romans. That's 8,000 years before the Great Pyramid of Giza. This date, 12,800 years ago, is a date that has historians panicking. It places the builders in the middle of the last ice age, a time when mainstream science insists humans were nothing more than primitive hunter-gatherers, living in caves and chasing mammoths with pointy sticks. Basically, the AI found that people we're told were primitive, were somehow performing astronomical calculations and engineering on a scale that we, with all our modern technology, would be terrified to even attempt. The computer had proven the what and the when, but it was just getting started. The AI's alignment data was shocking, but what it found in the quarry was even worse. Engineering of the gods. To understand why this AI's discovery is so devastating, you have to understand the sheer mind-bending scale of Balbeck. This isn't like Stonehenge, and that's putting it lightly. The largest stones at Stonehenge weigh about 40 tons. They are impressive, but Balbeck makes Stonehenge look like a child's toy. We are in the Beeka Valley of Lebanon. What most people don't realize is that the Roman temple, the one you see in all the pictures, is built on a massive raised platform. This platform is held up by a retaining wall, and in that wall are 3 stones known as the Trilithon. These are 3 single quarried blocks of limestone. Each one is over 63 feet long, 14 feet high, and 12 feet thick.
Those stones that are highlighted in red are the Trilithon stones. But these pictures do not do it justice because it's taken through an ultra-wide camera lens. From the top to bottom of the red highlighted stones is 14 feet, and they're 62 feet long.
Geologists have calculated their weight. Each one weighs an estimated 800 tons. That is 1.6 million pounds per stone. Let's get this straight. The largest stone at the Great Pyramid of Giza, a wonder of the world, is about 80 tons. The stones in the Trilithon are 10 times heavier. A modern M1 Abrams battle tank weighs about 68 tons. You would need to stack 12 tanks on top of each other to equal the weight of one of these blocks. A fully loaded Boeing 747 jumbo jet weighs around 400 tons. The builders of Balbeck were moving the equivalent of 2 jumbo jets carved from a single piece of rock, and they did it 3 times. But it gets worse. They didn't just push them around on the ground. They lifted them. The Trilithon stones are sitting on top of a layer of smaller but still massive stones, putting them roughly 22 feet up in the air. And the precision, oh, the precision. These 1.6 million pound blocks are fitted together so perfectly that even after 12,000 years of earthquakes and wars, you cannot slip a piece of paper, or in many places even a razor blade, between them. This is the puzzle that has baffled engineers for centuries. How do you quarry an 800-ton block? How do you transport it 1/3 of a mile from the quarry? And how in the world do you lift it 22 feet in the air and place it with millimeter-perfect accuracy? The Romans did it with ropes theory as a joke. Modern engineers have stated on record that we, today, could not do this. The largest mobile crane in the world might be able to lift this weight, but it can't move with it. And it certainly couldn't place it with such precision in a tight, elevated space. And get this, the Trilithon stones aren't even the biggest ones. Still in the quarry, about 1/3 of a mile away, lies a stone known as the Hajar al-Hibla, or the Stone of the Pregnant Woman. It is a single block, fully cut and ready for transport. It weighs an estimated 1,000 tons. That's 2 million pounds. For decades, this was the largest quarried stone in the world. Until 2014, a German archaeological team doing a survey right next to it found another one partially buried. This new behemoth is estimated to weigh 1,650 tons. That is 3.3 million pounds in a single perfectly squared off block.
And if you were to go to the quarry, there's ones that are 1,200 tons and even 1,500 tons that are 20 feet tall. This is mind-boggling.
This isn't a mystery of how. This is a statement. This is the ancient builders laughing at us, proving that no human civilization we know of could ever have built this. So if it wasn't ropes and rollers, the AI had to find the real answer. And it did. Technology of a lost race. So here's the deal. The researchers had the AI's conclusion, built 12,800 years ago, not by Romans. But that still left the how. How did a supposed primitive culture achieve this? The AI went back to the data. It focused on the microscopic scans of the quarry, the place where the 3.3 million pound stone still lies. Mainstream archaeology insists they used bronze or iron chisels and brute force. But the AI found something else. The tool marks weren't tool marks. Not from chisels anyway. The cuts were too smooth, the angles too perfect.
Clearly cut stones that were moved into place and moved 23 feet above the ground.
Right. And technically 30 feet because there's stones that are actually below the ground there that you can't see because it's submerged under the earth.
The AI ran simulations and found that the patterns on the rock did not match the scrapes and chips of a hammer and chisel. Instead, the AI concluded the builders used a technology that history says is impossible: acoustics. The AI's report stated that the builders were masters of sound frequency. The analysis suggested they didn't cut the rock, they tuned it. By finding the precise resonant frequency of the limestone, they could create a standing wave of high-intensity vibration. This would, on a molecular level, destabilize the stone's crystal structure, allowing them to slice through it with minimal effort. Think of a trained singer shattering a wine glass with their voice, but on an industrial megalithic scale. This would explain the impossible precision and the smooth surfaces. They weren't hammering, they were vibrating the stone apart. This was the wow factor that sent the research team reeling. But the AI wasn't done. Cutting the stone is one thing, moving it is another. The team asked the AI to analyze the transportation problem. The ground between the quarry and the temple site is not flat. It goes uphill. No amount of rollers or ropes could move a 3 million pound block up that slope. The friction would be too great. The rollers would be crushed into powder. The AI found the solution in the same data. It suggested the builders used the same technology for moving: acoustic levitation. This sounds like science fiction, but the AI presented its evidence. It pointed to subtle wave-like patterns carved into the bedrock of the quarry floor, patterns that had been dismissed as decoration or water erosion by historians. The AI identified them as a complex array of acoustic emitters. By generating an incredibly powerful, focused field of sound under the stone, the builders could create a cushion of high-pressure energy. This energy would effectively cancel the stone's weight, allowing a small team to glide it, almost weightless, from the quarry to the temple site. The AI's model showed that with this technology, moving a 1,000-ton block wouldn't require an army of 30,000 men. It would require a team of 30 engineers. This is the technology that history forgot. This is the secret that proves no known human culture could have done this.
Notice how they're completely flush, nice and even with each other. And this exceeds the known capabilities of what the Romans had.
The AI had identified the when and the how, but it also had a chilling answer for the who. The Younger Dryas warning. The builders were active 12,800 years ago. They possessed a mastery of acoustic physics that we are only just beginning to dream of. And they built a platform of stones so massive it defies all logic. So, who were they? This is where the AI's report became truly terrifying. The AI had no human biases. It just processed the data. And the data pointed to a conclusion that is the ultimate nightmare for mainstream history. The builders of Balbeck were not us. The AI cross-referenced the astronomical date, 12,800 years ago, with geological records. That date is not random. It is perhaps the single most important and catastrophic date in human history. It is the exact date of the Younger Dryas impact event. This was a period of extreme climate change, a sudden violent return to Ice Age conditions that caused mass extinctions and, as many researchers believe, a global flood of almost unimaginable proportions. This was the event that wiped the slate clean. The AI's conclusion is this: the builders of Baalbek were part of a globally advanced technical civilization that existed before this cataclysm. They were not primitive. They were more advanced than us, at least in the fields of megalithic engineering and physics. They saw the end of the world coming, and this platform at Baalbek, it was a last, desperate attempt to build something that would survive the apocalypse. Something that would last for 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 years. A message in stone. What most people don't realize is that this fringe theory is supported by local legends. Ancient texts from the region don't credit the Romans. They credit giants. They claim the platform was built by a race of giants in the time before the Great Flood under the direction of King Nimrod. The AI didn't say giants or aliens. It simply stated that the engineering, the mathematics, and the physics required to build Baalbek are not consistent with any known human developmental curve. The builders were either a lost species of human, a super civilization that was erased, or something else. This is the truth of Baalbek. It is a relic. It is the last remnant of a lost golden age, a civilization so advanced that they could move mountains, and so doomed that they were wiped from the face of the earth almost overnight. The Romans weren't the builders. They were just the first tourists marveling at a wonder they could never, ever replicate.
One, people need to understand that the Romans were renowned for documenting everything, yet this site is not credited to anybody. They don't know exactly who did it or when, but the academics conclude that it had to have been the Romans or the Phoenicians because, of course, there was no one before them.
The AI had solved the puzzle, but it left one final terrifying question. What was this impossible platform actually for? What the AI finally admitted. So here's the deal. We have a platform built 12,800 years ago by a lost super-civilization using sound wave technology to move 3 million-pound stones. Why? Why would anyone do this? The Romans thought it was a great spot for a temple to Jupiter. But the AI's analysis suggests its original purpose was far more complex. The AI analyzed the specific type of limestone, the massive scale engineering, and the precise astronomical alignments. The conclusion? Balbeck wasn't a temple. It was a machine. The AI's models suggest the platform was designed to harness the Earth's natural telluric energy currents. It was a massive power plant using the specific frequencies of the Earth amplified by the precisely tuned stones to do what? Generate power? Stabilize the planet's energy grid? Or, as some of the researchers now fear, was it a launch pad? A last desperate attempt to leave a planet that was about to be destroyed? The thing is, we'll never know. Because the Romans, in their ignorance, built their temple right on top of it. They pounded their columns into the platform, desecrating the ancient technology and turning a priceless piece of lost science into a simple tourist attraction. So what do you think? Was Balbeck a power plant built by a lost race or something else entirely? Let us know your theory in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more truths that history tried to hide.